Okay, y'all, so y'all might want to turn down y'all headphones just a little bit, right? Because mama is about to snap. I'm about to snap real badly. I hate when conversations, the number one thing I hate about Twitter is when conversations get like regurgitated. It's very annoying. It's like the most, not just Twitter in general, it's the most annoying thing about it, about the internet. Like, I got annoyed when the whole thing with Carrie Hilson like a couple weeks or a couple months ago happened, and it was like, oh well, Polo the Don is actually the one. It's like, that's known information. So I was like, why is everybody up in arms about something that was already public information? Now granted, maybe y'all don't pay attention to Carrie Hilson, but certain things I'm just like, bro, I don't care, because it's already been like talked about. So I go online or whatever, and I see that people are up in arms because apparently, Ari Lennox was talking to somebody and pretty much, just went into detail about how she felt like Pam from the Martin show or whatever, how she was like, I guess, like kind of treated differently a little bit, it seems like, as far as like the jokes and on screen things, versus Gina. And it's more so because she's a dark-skinned woman. That's like the overall point of what she said. And the crazy part is, before I even clicked on the video, when I read the headline or I saw people comments, I said, oh, I already know this conversation. Like, this is the thing, the conversation about Pam and Gina and Martin and that dynamic and the light skin and the dark skin of it all, and even Martin as like a partner, a boyfriend, a fiance, these are not conversations that are new. This is why I'm getting so aggravated, because number one, people are trying to make it seem like Ari is the one who just came out of nowhere with this brain theory and now everybody's jumping on it. No, you want to know why she's saying it so matter-of-factly? It's because it's a conversation. Let me be very specific. It's been a conversation amongst Black women for years. I want y'all to listen to what I'm saying. This is nothing new. The reason she felt okay saying that is because that's a conversation within Black women that we've been having. What? That shit is old. That conversation is as old as the fucking show is. So to try to now come online and try to make it seem like, number one, that's just a today sentiment because everybody today is so sensitive, is a lie, because it's a conversation that was happening way before Twitter was even a big fucking thing. What are we even talking about? What are we talking about? And even within this new Twitter era, it's a conversation that's already been had about 1,010 times. And within that conversation, the conversation is not even specifically about Martin. And this is your problem, specifically niggas. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to call you niggas out. Niggas always want to personalize some shit. Like, we talking about you, or nobody is specifically talking about Martin as a person and like, oh, this was his intention of doing things. Because if that was the case, right, if I'm saying that we've been having this conversation for years, then why the fuck would any Black woman get their ass up to go see Bad Boys 4? Why would we care to go to his tour? No, you cannot give me one Black woman that you've seen that has said we need to cancel Martin. Who has said that? Nobody. It's a conversation. It's a small example of the overall conversation about how, specifically like during that time frame in general, but specifically during that time frame, how dark-skinned women on TV and in media were positioned as like the unlikable one, the unattractive one, the one that, again, like if we use Martin, get you joked on the most, she's the butt of the joke, where the lighter skinned, fair skinned woman is more held up as like the love interest, the person to fawn over. That's what the fuck we're talking about. We're talking about an overall point. Nobody is saying that niggas who's watching Martin thought that Pam was ugly. Who the fuck thought that? Who the fuck thought that? We're not talking about that. We're not talking about what you as niggas saw when y'all watched Pam and Martin. We're talking about the overall societal way. Honestly, it is some of y'all niggas too, because some of y'all niggas did fetishize and prefer Gina simply because she was light-skinned over Pam. So yes, it is some of you niggas, but we're talking about the overall society way of how dark-skinned women are positioned compared to light-skinned women and how they're positioned. And like I just said on Twitter, what I don't understand is if you are one of those people that make the joke or understand the whole thing of going from the dark-skinned Aunt Viv on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to the light-skinned Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, if you make that joke all the time and you get that, then I don't understand how you don't get the overall point that people are trying to make. Nobody is saying that everybody preferred the light-skinned Aunt Viv over the dark skin Aunt Viv. That's not what we're saying. We're talking about how specifically in TV and media and Hollywood in general, how black women have to be positioned for them to fucking accept it, to give us a fucking chance, and how that particular positioning of black women that Hollywood accepts, how it affects the way that the next generation and the people that's actually consuming black, white, or indifferent, how it affects them and how they see black women. And this is why we don't have conversations on fucking Twitter, because it's more nuanced than 130 fucking characters. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. The overall, not just Martin. Martin is just an example of what somebody is talking about. And my thing is, you can, if you want to, you can disagree and saying, you know, I don't feel like Pam was positioned a certain way because she was dark skinned. Cool. Feel like that. But the overall point that she was trying to make stands. There's a reason, again, that they switched out the dark-skinned Aunt Viv for the light-skinned Aunt Viv. Why didn't they just get another dark-skinned woman? There was a reason for that. The same way that at the very fucking end, they wanted to replace the brown-skinned the brown-skinned Harriet on Family Matters for the more light-skinned Harriet on Family Matters. The same reason why once Denise left A Different World, it's not like Dwayne started messing with one of the other brown skin girls. No, he started messing with Whitley, another light skinned woman. And nobody is saying that there's anything wrong with liking light skinned women. But we're talking about specifically in media and TV, how black women, specifically dark skinned black women, are positioned compared to light-skinned women. Now let's talk about Pam and Gina for a second, right? And the whole Martin thing, right? This is the thing. I've seen every episode of Martin. I can't even count, specifically 1 trillion times, because growing up, we had every single DVD or whatever that had every episode, and I didn't have cable for like 3 to 4 years out of my life. So that's literally all that I know. This is the thing. Because a lot of the rebuttal is, oh, well, he joked on Pam, he joked on Gina too, he joked on Gina too. Okay, well, number one, it's not just that. Martin joked on everybody. That's not what we're talking about. Some people are talking about the specific jokes. Now, I've watched Martin. Again, do not try to tell me things that Martin has and has not said about Gina. I'm going to tell you the main jokes that Gina gets when it comes to Martin. The fact that she has a big-ass head, big-ass apple head, a.k.a. the fucking episode where she gets her head stuck in the headboard. The fact that she has a big-ass head. The fact that she's bougie, which is why they broke up in season 2, because he called her bougie because of the daggone the butt statue that he got her and broke. And then the other thing that he calls her is light bright, like how light she is. Oh, sorry, how light she is in her voice. Those are the 4 things that Martin really talks about. How big her head is, her being bougie, her being light-skinned, and the fact that sometimes she has like a weird voice. But the weird voice thing is like towards the end. He don't really do that a whole lot. Now, when it comes to Pamela in particular, Pamela, like some people said, is normally referred to as some type of animal, okay? It's normally like a horse or a dog or a monkey. It's normally something like that. And the jokes towards her are a little bit more visceral. Always talking about how nappy her hair is, although Pam's hair and Gina hair ain't really that far off. If you really will, it ain't that far off. It's off, but it not by very much. A lot of to be fair, like people said, a lot of the jokes towards Pam are featurist jokes. These are the facts. Now, people's rebuttal to that is, oh, well, she would make jokes to him too. Okay, yeah, but she talked about how short he was. Do you know what I'm saying? 90% of her jokes towards him has to do with how short he is, right? And some people could say, oh, well, that's being tall, I don't know, tallest or whatever. And okay, sure, I'll give you that. But the point of the matter is that the jokes that Pam received versus the jokes that Gina received were not necessarily like on par. Now, a lot of people will say, well, Gina was his girl versus Pam being his girl. Now, let's actually back up there for a second. Why do you think that Gina was the girlfriend and not Pam? Now, I've seen somebody say, oh, well, because Gina said that she couldn't handle it the way Pam is. That's a motherfucking lie. Because trust me, I know everything about Martin. That's not true. That's a motherfucking lie. That's a lie. The way that actually happened is that Gina was actually called in to be Martin's girlfriend. And and Tisha Campbell and Tashina Arnold were roommates. And once she got that role, she put her friend Tashina on. That's how that happened. Be very clear. But I'm saying all of that to say is when Tashina did finally step into the room, nobody Nobody said, oh, actually, let's make her the girlfriend. There's a reason. Nobody is saying that it's black people's reason and that it's Martin's specific reason, but to try to make it seem like light-skinned women are not upheld in a certain way, the way versus dark-skinned women, is just bullshit. Again, you cannot agree with the Martin and Pam situation of it all. Fine, whatever. I'm not here to even argue that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But to act like that overall point is just not real is bullshit. It's the same way, like how I said this, and my thing is, just because people are calling it out, this is the most important part. Just because people are saying in hindsight things were like this, or came off like this, who the fuck is saying never watch Martin again? Who is saying to never support Martin Lawrence again? Who the hell is saying to freaking to march against Martin and to march against Tashina Arnold, and I mean to march against Tisha Campbell? Who is saying that? Who is saying that? Y'all are making it seem like simply having a conversation and calling something out for what it seemed like it was God knows how long ago, that means that people are actively canceling somebody. It's been a conversation. If it wasn't done 10 years ago, if it wasn't done during the Black Lives Matter movement, if it wasn't done during the peak of Me Too movement, it ain't gonna happen today. Nobody fucking cares. It's just a simple conversation that niggas is having about shit that happened back in the day. The same way how there's been a conversation over the last couple of years about girlfriends in particular. Because a lot of millennials, because a lot of this comes strictly from this. A lot of millennials, especially black millennial women, specifically black millennial women who be on like the internet, like YouTube and stuff like that, TikTok. A lot of us collectively decided to go back and watch shows, now that we're adults. Like even shout out to Bondi Blue. She has a whole series called Now That We're Adults, where we go back and we look at old shows and see the perspective of it now. So one of those shows that I used to see going around was Martin. And a lot of the things that we picked up on now as adults, it wasn't even just that. We talked about that. We talked about, again, how trash of a partner/boyfriend that Martin was, and how I wish my nigga would ever propose to me how Martin did. That shit was disrespectful. Will you marry me, Gina? Damn, are you happy now? Disrespectful. As a kid, even as a kid, it felt disrespectful. But as a grown-ass adult woman, seeing everything that Gina went through to put up with Martin and his bullshit, it's crazy. So that's something that's been talked about. But I bet you if it pop up online tomorrow because somebody wants to finally put their ear to what the fuck black women are talking about and being fucking nosy, y'all are gonna have a conniption about that too, right? We're just talking about the art that we've seen, and we're just fucking critiquing it. Art is made to be critiqued. Point blank period. Nobody's saying pull it from the shelves, take it off of BET Plus. Nobody's saying that. It's a simple conversation. Again, the same way how a lot of us went back and we recently watched Girlfriends. And a lot of us at this point have realized Joan was a terrible fucking friend. She was a terrible friend. She was a terrible fucking friend. And she was very jealous of Tony. And even in Girlfriends, within black women, we talk about like the colorism and stuff that kind of happened amongst there. A lot of people feel like Joan, being light-skinned, felt very jealous of the fact that even though she was light-skinned and had all of this hair and stuff like, all the featurism shit that most people would like, that Tony was the one that had the bag. Tony was the one who didn't have to work. Tony was the one who had the man and who had the lifestyle. And that Joan was jealous of her. What are you talking about? We talk about colorism in everything. Not that it appears in everything, but in a lot of things it do appear. Bitch, we talk about Moesha. And to ask any type of millennial grown-ass adult now who's went back and watched Moesha, we all have accepted that Moesha was a terrible fucking friend, and she was a terrible fucking daughter, a very ungrateful daughter, and she was spoiled as fuck. Are we saying nobody go to the Brandy and Monica tour? No, we're just simply talking about things that we grew up on and how, in hindsight, certain things look the same way how niggas want to constantly bring up America's Next Top Model, right? And how, in hindsight, yeah, that shit was crazy. At the time, it was popping though. But in hindsight, yes, it was crazy. And I love Tyra Banks, and I'm never gonna fucking cancel her. But that was, in hindsight, crazy, that show. That's it. It's just simple critique. Shut the up. Nobody is saying to never listen or watch Martin again. It's a conversation. But this is what happens when y'all niggas want to put y'all nose in black women business. Mind y'all business. Stay out of our conversations. Stay the fuck over there. We've been having this conversation as black women for at least 20 plus fucking years. And now, because the internet, y'all have y'all little noses in our business. Either A, you should be connecting with more black women, or this conversation wouldn't even be nothing motherfucking new. I bet you if you ask Mark Lamont Hill if he was on the show, if he's heard this conversation, he's gonna say yes, because he's He's in community with the right people. Otherwise, if you ain't in community with us, mind your business. Stick your nose out of Black women's conversations. Because we ain't talking to y'all. We talking to each other. My rant is done, y'all. My rant's done. I'm done.